talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
Yeah, that was an ass-kicking to start the Kevin O'Connell era of Minnesota Vikings football. That is the first time, by the way, according to the Star-Tribune, Aaron Rodgers has started against the Vikings for like a decade and a half or something. It's the first time he has ever failed to score 10 points in a game. So ironically, we've been talking for how long about, the offense, more innovation offensively, and early on we saw a ton of that. And it was one of the great defensive performances that we've seen going back years and years and years. You guys have stumbled into the most fan-friendly, interactive show in all of Minnesota sports, maybe even the world, for all we know. It's hard to measure for sure. This is Vikings Vent Line, part of Purple Daily. Phil Mackey, we got Judd Zulgad from US Bank Stadium right now. We got our executive producer, Declan Goff, spinning about 100 plates. If you'd like to get on the show, we're going to give our thoughts here, and then we turn the show over to you guys. If you'd like to get on the show, send a request to VikingsVentline@gmail.com. VikingsVentline@gmail.com. We'll try to get to as many people as possible throughout, an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. And the only rule is really keep it clean, please. Okay, don't just keep the curse words off. Keep it clean, and don't get us fired. And real quick, this show is presented by our friends at Surly and also TCL. TCL is one of the world's best-selling consumer electronics brands. They have a new lineup of award-winning TVs delivering the most entertainment with stunning resolution, all at an affordable cost. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL. Gentlemen, the Vikings are above 500 for the first time in 987 days. How does that feel?
Amen. Hallelujah. It feels good because you know what? This was fun to watch. So my big thing was, what are you going to show us, and what are you going to show us that obviously the previous coaching staff that got blown out for didn't? And I just want to start with the offense. And look, I mean, this was step one. They didn't play in the exhibition season together. This was just like step one. So there's a lot more to go. I guarantee you O'Connell's going to talk about, it was good, but there's a lot more. But I just want to focus on the fact that step one was pretty damn successful. And furthermore, Justin Jefferson, as good as I said in training camp that I expected, and I was off the charts. I said, this is the next Moss type of guy. I think he was superior today to what I sold. It was as impressive a performance. Literally, if you throw him the ball, the odds are if it's inbounds, he's going to catch it.
He's just open. He's just open on every play. It's ridiculous.
And I'm going to tell you right now, there were passes not thrown his way that should have been, and I think that will be rectified. Everybody else here is playing in the rhythm section. Thielen, Osborne, Cook, they're in, and that's important, right? That's important. We got some cymbals. We might have a harmonica, yeah. Exactly. But this guy is up front, and I mean, how much better is Cousins going to be? How much better is this offense going to be? As stupid as this might sound, where after 2 years of him being really, really good, but not being used as much probably as he could have been, today I think you bordered on the right amount of JJ, and it probably can be more, and that is what really excites me. Just as a guy that gets to watch this team 16 more times, if he can stay on the field, oh my God, was that fun.
Yeah. Dex, what are your just initial? You got your "Before I Die" T-shirt on.
I do.
They can't win a Super Bowl before they die if they don't win games like this. So,
well, first, a crack, a nice little hyper modern IPA for Judd Zulgad and for everyone else on the screen here from our friends at Surly Brewing Company. And,
yes.
Judd's right. It was second fiddle basically from everyone else on Justin Jefferson on. There was a point, and I believe after the first quarter, because they had the Vikings offense at the ball a few times, and I realized, they went to Justin Jefferson a ton in the first quarter. Where has he been? They went 8 consecutive plays without targeting Justin Jefferson. And, they stalled out a few times. I think they had a 3-and-out. They punted both those times, and it was just feed the ball to Justin Jefferson. And then there was so many other moments where he is literally putting his hands up, JJ that is, basically to say, feed me the football. Everything runs through Justin Jefferson. It's hilarious that Adam Thielen was basically an afterthought today. KJ Osborne was an afterthought today. Dalvin Cook had over 100 all-purpose yards, and he was Dalvin Cook, but he was honestly an afterthought today. This was maximizing Justin Jefferson into that Cooper Kupp role that Kevin O'Connell said that he was basically going to be, and Jefferson, who said he wants 2,000 yards, might have been underselling himself. It was the Justin Jefferson show.
I'll give you my quick thoughts, and then we'll turn the show over to fans here. By the way, we already have thousands of people in here right now on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. And if you're new or if you haven't already, please click subscribe on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, and we will then deliver you not only these interactive post-game shows, Vikings Vent Line, but daily Vikings content. You can also find us, Purple Daily, on any podcast distributor, Apple, Spotify, the Score North website, the Score North app as well. But I found myself just sort of with this goofy grin ear to ear throughout the entire first half. Even just watching the formations offensively, it felt modern and it felt different. Like, wow, they showed the stat at one point that the Vikings ran 42% of the time last year. They ran what's called 11 personnel. So one running back, one tight end, and then the receivers aren't listed in the count, but it'd be 3 wide receivers. So less than half the time. Today it was like 75 or 80% of the plays were 3 wide receivers on the field. And the pre-snap motions and the jet sweep actions were just like that stood out aggressively in the first half. And it's not that we didn't see pre-snap motions last year or under Mike Zimmer, but it was so much different than what we've seen the last 8 years. And the result in the first half especially was exactly what you would have hoped for as a Vikings fan.
There was one play where the Packers, I'm not joking, JJ went in motion from the right to the left side, and the Packers ended up with a lineman on him. And he caught a pass, of course.
Oops.
But I'm just saying, like, that's the lack of preparation. That's the lack of, oh my God, this is, and I think that the Packers were trying to spend much of the day playing zone, so they didn't shadow Jefferson, which I would suggest might be a good idea. Yeah. But nonetheless, like when you end up with a 6'5", 6'4", 6'5" guy on Justin Jefferson, good luck to you. Hope it goes well.
So, again, thanks to TCL TVs, thanks to Surly Brewing Company for powering Vikings Vent Line. Declan, who should we start the 2022 Vent Line season off with here? Who is under center? Who's the leadoff man?
All right, QB1
or woman.
Let's go to DJ. DJ, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line. How are you?
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm in Croatia on my holidays from Ireland.
Oh, we're going international right away to start off
Straight
Vent Line.
away.
Love
I'm
it,
literally
dude.
in a fucking. Sorry.
Hey, easy. Don't swear. Don't swear.
Sorry, I apologize. I'm in a Roman palace. I usually watch this at 1 a.m. Irish time, and I just want to say I've seen more innovation from Kevin O'Connell in the offense than I've seen in 14 years of supporting the Minnesota Vikings. It was absolutely incredible. It was so refreshing to see.
So what made you smile most today? What was your favorite thing that you saw today?
2 deep safeties. Justin Jefferson is still an option.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. It's so refreshing to see.
Yeah. It wasn't like the Packers. It wasn't like the Packers didn't know going in. No, we got to account for this guy. And then when he gets off to the hot start, it wasn't like they didn't sit there at halftime and say, okay, how can we? Now, he didn't do as much in the second half, but he still winds up with 11 targets, 9 catches, and a career high of $184. And they knew going in they were going to try and take him away. And the Vikings still shoved him down their throats.
I mean, if the Packers score more than 1 score, Jefferson's going over 200 easy. But they didn't need it. They controlled it. As soon as they shut the Packers down again and again and again, JJ was just a passenger because he could be. And that's a big positive because that keeps him fresh. And I just thought the innovation on the offense was something I'd never seen as a Vikings fan, being an Irish Vikings fan for 13, 14 years. I've never seen that level of innovation in the offense.
Yeah.
And there's more to come. That's the nice thing. Well, like, this is a baby step. Like, this is your first step into a game in 3 weeks or so.
This is the first time they've
unveil here. So
yes. DJ, thank you for leading off the season here in 2022. Let's keep it rolling, Dex. Who is next on Vikings Vent Line?
All right, I think this is a family affair. I think these are three people. I think we got Will, Ben, and Norman.
Yes.
So three dudes on one screen for
What's
Vent
going
Line.
on,
Yes,
man?
yes. Gentlemen, we're on. Yes, and guess what? In Justin Jefferson, we trust, baby. Woo! Oh, my God. Seeing that innovation with Justin Jefferson, it does, like the previous guy said, it does not matter. It does not matter. Justin Jefferson cannot and will not be stopped. And that O-line, besides maybe Ingram and Bradbury, they cleaned it up later, but that was some of the best O-line play that we have seen in quite some time. We're all absolutely looking forward to the season. They're playing Madden right now, but yes, thank you guys for having us on, and woo, Skull Vikings, baby.
Love it, dude. All right, Will, Ben, and Norm. Love it, man.
That's incredible.
Bringing the noise. And I saw one of my PFF guys, I think it was PFF Nate. He's one of the fantasy experts over there, and he tweeted out, like, is it possible Justin Jefferson is this year's Cooper Kupp? And with all respect, Justin Jefferson has been better than Cooper Kupp for the last 2 seasons. It's just a lack of opportunity compared to Cooper Kupp, a lack of scheme compared to Cooper Kupp. This was a very Cooper Kupp-like box score for Justin Jefferson because they gave him the chance to do this, right?
The best part too is, and O'Connell talked about this in training camp. If you put Jefferson in motion, it gives you every answer to what the defense intends to do. So like it makes it a double threat because because Kirk should identify that immediately. Like these are the things that I don't think they really knew how to do in 2021. So with all of the answers to the quiz basically being given to you a pre-snap, that makes the entire thing dangerous. But yes, Jefferson, I think that this is going to be a season in which you're going to basically see for the first time in a long time a guy who, when you think he's covered, is still going to catch a ton of passes.
Yeah.
So
This is now officially the most simultaneous viewers on a season opener. It is the third year we've done Vent Line exclusive to the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Just under 4,000 simultaneous viewers right now. That's the most we've had in a week one Vent Line here. Especially like sometimes you guys after a win, you don't. Our biggest one was the Cowboys loss because everyone was just pissed and needed an outlet. But this almost feels like the culmination of just years of mediocrity and misery. And there is still a long way to go this season. But this feels like a celebration today among Vikings fans. And so thanks for packing this room. And don't forget to click the subscribe button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Dex, who is next on Vikings Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go to Mohammed. We'll get Mohammed on here. What's up, Mohammed? How are you?
I'm doing good. Very glad to be on here. First time on Vent Line. Been listening to you guys for about a year now. Really appreciate the analysis you guys do. I feel like you guys keep it realistic, but also very informational. So appreciate it.
That's also called hating. We are haters, if you want the shortened version of it.
Sometimes when you love something, you got to show hate before it can get better.
Yep.
Cool.
So what'd you see today, man?
Honestly, like I loved every part of it. It was just actually like an enjoyable game for once. One thing that stood out was just offensive like aggression as well. Like even at the very beginning of the game, that fourth down near the goal line, it's just like not even just taking that decision, but I was just thinking, oh, they're gonna run the ball, it's gonna get stuffed, it's gonna be really boring. But no, they just like a little bit of aggression there to get that first touchdown, which I loved, and just all the emphasis on Justin Jefferson as well. The other thing too was just the defense was just outstanding today. I mean, I don't know if it's just a matter of they don't have any like wide receivers in Green Bay anymore or what exactly, or they didn't have any of their offensive line that was really good, but it was just like absolutely strong and not letting anything happen, even when momentum was starting to shift near the end of the game. But I mean, if they can keep that performance up, the defense, and have the offense, I mean, that'll just be amazing. So, I mean, honestly, the only other thing that was a little bit annoying was that we settled for more field goals than I would have liked, but a win's a win, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Thanks, Mohammed. Appreciate it, man. Good judge.
So his point is a good one off that late drive, which I actually liked a lot because it ate a ton of clock. Now, you'd really like to dagger them with a touchdown there. So the fact that they got 3 points instead of 7 was a little bit of a downer. But what I loved about that drive and what was heartening about it was, that's a drive that a year ago or like the last 2 years went 3 and out, right? Like the Vikings have the ball, they can dagger them. Now they're punting. And I think that they ate, if I'm not mistaken, on that drive alone, 5+ minutes. And that is exactly what you wanted, right? Like basically take away their time and their will. I'd like to see it be a touchdown, but that was great. I also give Kirk a lot of credit for, I think it was a 60-yard plus pass to Jefferson.
Yes.
Because on this play, there's pressure. The play is breaking down. And Kirk did what we've been begging him to do for years, which is he sort of scrambled, saw Jefferson, and then at what I guess would be considered the top of the pocket, made the throw. Like, this is what we've been saying, is be aware of your surroundings. And instead of standing there and being sacked, he actually was proactive. And again, if you buy yourself time and Jefferson can run, he's going to catch the ball.
That was a great play by Cousins. He felt pressure from the top of his drop, right? That's right, from the top of his drop. There you go. And he kind of did this little, like, it was almost like a shuffle, and it looked like he wound up, like a crow hop, like an outfielder in baseball or something, and he unleashes that ball down the field. But it was all about him not panicking because he saw pressure. And, there was probably some of these plays in the second half where he chose a shorter route or a check down. But on that play, he resisted the urge to just dump it off to a tight end or a running back and said, no, Jefferson is streaking wide open down there. I am going to move up in the pocket and make that play. Who's next on Vikings Vent Line here, Declan?
All right, another family affair. I think it's our guy Alex and a little baby. Another family affair on Vent Line.
Yeah, so we're coming to you from Chicago. It's our first time on the Vent Line. Oh, I'm sorry. Here you go. I'm sorry, guys.
That's a natural reaction for most young Vikings fans, and Kevin O'Connell is trying to. You don't have to be sad anymore. Kevin O'Connell is here to save the day.
Sorry about that, guys. Thanks, Mom. So I, like Judd, took some bullet points throughout the game, and I just want to run through them real quick. You can talk to them when they're done. Number 1, preseason snaps, overrated. Offense came out hot. Yes, they're scripted plays, but I like that. They came out hot. The talent showed. That was nice to see. Number 2, JJ and Thielen, they're moving all over the place. I love the motion. Give Kirk the answers to the test before the snap. Love to see it. Number 3, Vikings almost blocked 4 or 5 punts today, but at the same time, they weren't hitting the punter. I really like that. That shows excellent coaching. Like Judd was saying, I like the special teams coach. He seems like a stud. Number 4, interior pass protection at first was oozing pretty quickly. Not really getting bull rushed, but getting swipe moved or swim moved. It got better throughout the game. Philadelphia is going to be a little bit different because those guys like to bowl you, so we'll see how that goes next week. But it seemed to get better through the game, so we'll keep an eye on that, but still could be a problem for the Vikings. The next one, Dalvin, I thought was the ultimate compliment today, but not the centerpiece. That's what we've been begging for.
Yes.
So that was great to see. I only have a couple more. I'm sorry, guys.
No, dude. No, this is. Don't apologize, man. This is great stuff. You're like matching my notes here too. This is awesome.
Okay. Bradbury, we killed the guy, but let's give him credit when credit's due. There was a swing play out to the right. He killed the guy on that play. He's good in space. It was fun to see. I was like, drink one to Bradbury. Irv Smith, was he on a snap count? To me, it didn't seem like he played a ton. Wasn't in there. You saw Mond, Ellefson in there a lot. Irv Smith, I really wanted to see him catch the ball more. Something to keep an eye on moving forward. Very clean game penalty-wise. Very pleased from that standpoint. Well coached. And then here's my last thing. There's 12 minutes, 30 seconds left. It's a 3rd and 6 play. Rodgers gets the ball, escapes to his right. And these are the plays in the past where he finds someone in the end zone. He gets that first down. He kills us. What happened this time? Dalvin Tomlinson gets the sack. He was a step slow, and I think this is the little bit of regression that we're seeing from Aaron Rodgers and his however old he is. Those are my thoughts. I don't have a Surly. My wife just took the bottle of milk. I was going to toast you guys some milk. But I love the show. Thank you for having me on. I'll continue to check you guys out daily. Skol.
Awesome. Skol Doc, dude. Skol Doc. Bringing it.
That was great.
On the Dalvin front, this is going to be really cliche, like embarrassingly cliche, but it's almost like they passed to set up the run instead of running to set up the pass today, as evidenced by 8 passes, 10-play drive to start the game. 8 passes, 2 runs on that play. And so then what happens? The Packers are shell-shocked. Oh, my God. if they weren't already thinking about Justin Jefferson, every night for the last 2 weeks or 2 months. Holy crap, this guy just, did Justin Jefferson things. Guess what happens then? More running lanes for Dalvin. So using the pass, which the Vikings have all these weapons and they have for years, to set up Dalvin Cook and do it the other way around was another refreshing thing to see today.
And you've got a better opportunity of keeping Cook on the field if he's not carrying the ball 25 times per game. Like the whole bell cow problem is that, right? It's like, well, Cook gets hurt a lot. Well, okay, let's put him in a position to be hurt more. So I think by doing this now, I think what we're going to find tomorrow when we get the snap count is Jefferson and Thielen's snap counts were unbelievable. I don't recall seeing 18 or 19 come off the field much at all.
Good.
But that being said, again, when they're used smartly and they're not used in a reckless fashion, I don't think that's a problem, because I don't think it's snap count that gets you. I think it's what you're asked to do. So like as far as how the approach today went with guys playing, touching the ball, I thought it was very, very smart and responsible. And the most important thing is, how do you keep as many of these guys on the field for 17 games as possible?
Yeah.
That's the question.
I think the magic elixir is that before I die surly tall boy that was in the stadium. I think that's the reason for the Vikings' rejuvenated health situation.
So here's the thing. Before today's game started, Surly for the win. So before the purple took the field, okay? Because we're talking before I die, making its debut. And by the way, the Vikings now 1-0 with before I die. Furious, which I saw some of, and Logic Bomb. So like all three infiltrated, and that is the 3-4 defensive line. Those
or
three
is it Jefferson, Thielen, KJ Osborne?
You know what?
Or maybe Johnny Munt's the third guy now after
Johnny
he
Munt
exploded today
Johnny
for
Munt,
like 2 catches.
Three
catches?
All I'm saying is, if you are a fan and you come to a purple game here, you can get a pregame win by drinking any of those fine beers. And yes, before I die now, a perfect 1-0 as a Surly beer.
There was someone who probably won a sizable amount of money, probably a family member of Johnny Munt, who put the first Vikings reception of the season was going to Johnny Munt.
I told you guys.
Prop.
Do you guys remember in the off-season workouts, and you mocked me? You're like, and I'm like, Johnny Munt, Detective Johnny Munt will catch passes, and he became today a real good fallback for Kirk Cousins.
He was tied for the second most catches behind Justin Jefferson today. So,
and you guys made fun of me.
We did. I apologize. I will be the bigger man here. I apologize for laughing at your Johnny Munt takes earlier this preseason.
Appreciate
I'm
that.
sorry.
Thank you.
I was wrong.
Thank you.
And I apologize.
Thank you very much.
Who's next on Vikings Vent Line? This is the most fan-friendly, interactive show in Minnesota sports.
Let's go to Vikings fan 47.
I believe not only is he Vikes fan 47, I believe he is the director of Intergovernmental Affairs East Coast region now, too.
That's right. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Same hat that celebrated the opening.
Take that hat off.
The Twins. By the way, we're having some audio problems with our director of Intergovernmental Affairs. We might have to bump him off the screen here. We'll go back to you. But yeah, I think you should take the Twins hat off because
it's the hat. It's the hat. No one wants to hear from someone wearing that hat right now.
It's a loser, soft ass hat. That Twins hat, swept by the Guardians. We'll come back to him. Who's next here?
Let's go to Matt. Matt, what's up, dude? You're on Vent Line.
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Skull, dude. What's going on?
Not much. I'm just really pumped for that game. I can actually enjoy a celebratory beer rather than a depressing, sad beer. So that's always great. Some things I saw from the game that I really enjoyed. I think they played a very combined, wholesome game, and it was exactly like I thought it would be. I didn't think that they just completely would steamroll Green Bay, but they had a convincing win. Opening drive touchdown, I thought that was fantastic. Jefferson, get him going early. That was great. The defense, a little shaky maybe on that first drive, almost gave up that touchdown to the rookie. But, fortunately for us, he dropped it. Big 17-0 lead at the halftime. I really liked that. And then they put the clamps down with the defense in the second half. I'm sitting there thinking at the beginning of the second half, after a couple of stagnated offensive drives, here we go again. But I think the difference with this team and the last year's teams, where the defense was able to make stops when they needed to. I mean, they had 4 sacks, an interception, a fumble recovery. They had 2 red zone turnover on downs. I mean, that is just amazing. Like, a great effort overall. I know I just like bird vomited a bunch of stuff, but I'm
no, dude, this
really
is not
for all that. So.
No, you've earned it. Grinding through, Matt. Thank you, man. You've earned the ability to feel this good after. Again, this is the first time. This is, and people are like, no, there's no way. This is the first time in almost 1,000 days this team has been above 500, and it has felt like that the last couple of years of the Mike Zimmer era. So, Dex, where do you want to go next here on Vikings Vent Line?
Let's bring our buddy on. He was on last year. He got like one of the calls of the year. Chris, what's up, man?
East Coast Chris, vice president of Fred Smoot Memories, joining Vikings Vent Line here.
Chris, you're muted on your end, man. You just got to unmute yourself. Just on the site there. Once you unmute
he will
yourself,
not be the vice president of audio technician or whatever.
Still learning, guys. I'm still learning.
Gotcha.
Hey, okay. So before I jump in it, Judd, you are completely right about Johnny Munt. I must apologize as well. I was thinking, like, dude, I love Judd, but this is weird. What is this?
I know.
Foolishness.
I know. I saw it. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
I love Judd, but this is weird. I think there's a lot of people in Judd's life that would probably say the same thing, just in general. I love Judd, but that's a little weird.
You got to trust me. You got to trust me on Johnny Munt.
So, fellas, I was watching the game, and have you guys... You ever been to a restaurant that you've been to before, and when you went there, the food was like, meh? And then all of a sudden you have a good friend, and this good friend comes to you and says, no, you got to go back. Like, why? Because they changed the menu. The management is new. You got to go back. Then you go back. You look at the new menu. You order the steak. You get it, medium well. It's melting in your mouth. They're now all of a sudden serving handmade milkshakes. Like, things are just amazing at this restaurant. Fellas, we've been eating at our friend Mike Zimmer's restaurant for too long. And now we're under new management. KOC, Kevin O'Connell, has taken over this restaurant. He's kept the same waiters. He's added a couple people with Za'Darius Smith and all that kind of stuff who showed up and showed out today. But y'all, we went today and we had a 4-course meal. It was incredible. It was fulfilling. I don't know when you eat good food, but you still got that taste that's lingering in your mouth. Watching Justin Jefferson today just light up the field. It was must-watch TV. Now, there are 2 plays for me that really spoke to not just the change on the team, but just the change in the atmosphere, and really specifically a change with Kirk Cousins. There was one play, I think it was in around the second half. It was either the second quarter or third quarter. I can't remember exactly where. He throws it to Justin Jefferson on the corner. I think it was maybe a 15-yard throw. And it was when JJ pushed off, which it was a little bit of push off. I wouldn't have called it, but, this is me. Yeah. But when he twisted his body to turn and catch that ball, now, granted, he was out of bounds, and he would have been out of bounds. But I feel like that's exactly what we've been talking about this entire offseason. Kirk, it doesn't matter if the man looks covered. There are things that this man can do with his body that no one else can do. It scared the crap out of me and out of everyone else in the stadium, especially the defenders on Green Bay, because they said, oh, shoot, this dude is open at all times. Second play, that 64-yard pass to Justin Jefferson. I said on Twitter, that entire drive was all Kirk. Because, and this is I'm not a Kirk Cousins fan, y'all. I'm not a big Kirk Cousins guy.
You're a Kirk Cousins hater. East Coast Chris is a Kirk Cousins hater.
Apparently, at me. Anyway, when Kirk looks down, he actually starts looking at the defense, turns around, makes a couple of checks, changes what needs to be changed. The ball snaps. The pocket gets muddy, but then Kirk steps up, looks for Justin Jefferson, and then throws the ball for that 64-yard catch. But you know what was the most incredible thing? It was after the play. After the play is done, and they show you Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins gets up. He's excited. He runs over. He actually high-fives the coach. The coach is fired up. He goes over to the sideline. He starts talking to Justin Jefferson. You see, last year I went to the game in Baltimore, and I watched Kirk Cousins on the sideline the entire time of the game. When things started getting murky, All he would do is he would walk over to the other side with his helmet on by himself.
Mm-hmm.
This time, you actually see him doing something that we have not seen, being a leader on the sideline, someone who is not feeding off of, but is actually trying to inject some juice into the team. I think Kevin O'Connell has brought just this air of confidence, of feeling like, guys, if things go wrong, we can get back into it, because we all know last year, as soon as the offense stopped moving, it's trouble time. Guys start getting stressed. Kirk does the,
teeth clencher. Kirk comes out. Yeah.
Right. But not this time. No. So I am excited. I am filled. I'm excited for this game next week. I thought that they were going to win, but I didn't think it was going to be like this. Yeah. This was legendary.
I want to ask you one question here before we get to it, because I feel like you are your energy right now. I feel your energy through people on Twitter. I feel it through just the people in the comment section on the YouTube channel right now. This is going to be an absurd question, but given the Vikings' lack of Super Bowls, and anyone who was born after, like 1967 basically doesn't remember when the Vikings were in a Super Bowl. Oh. Just the way that you feel today as a fan, considering how bad the last couple seasons felt, is this like a top 10 day of how you've felt as a fan? Is that a crazy notion?
Yeah, by far. I would say the last time that I really felt like this was that Brett Favre to Greg Lewis back of the end zone. Holy crap, this thing might actually work out, touchdown. Because that's what that was that season, because Brett Favre was new. We know those first few games were okay, but when he threw that laser to Greg, and Greg Lewis catching that thing, because I remember stuff like I was 10 in 98. I clearly remember that. I remember 01, but I haven't felt like this since Brett Favre stepped on that field, man, on that Week 3 to San Francisco game.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
East Coast Chris, man, our vice president of Fred Smoot memories in the Purple Daily and Vikings Twitter cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We'll see you next time, Chris. Awesome stuff, dude.
Mm-hmm. And I would say this. I would say that the excitement about this team, to me, right now, offensively, far more mirrors, and I say this cautiously, 98. Because Moss was a rookie, but Denny knew what he was doing. See, that's we probably don't give Green enough credit for being a really good offensive mind when he had the components, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, Jefferson his first 2 years was damn good, but you always were like, well, there's more there. Like, there's way more there, and you don't need, and this is, Kirk played a good game, so please hear me clearly. You don't need a necessarily Hall of Fame quarterback if you have the components that this team has at skill positions and a good QB, which Kirk is, right? So, I mean, I remember the start of 98 where it was sort of like this, oh my God, holy cow. Like, this is a high-flying circus act. I think this team with Jefferson leading the way has the opportunity to mirror that, because I'm telling you right now, Justin Jefferson is as close to Moss as you could possibly get. I mean, he is catching passes he should not be able to catch.
There is a Moss-like, they're different players, but there is a Moss-like feeling to the dominance of Justin Jefferson. And also, let it be known that you guys all call Judd Mr. Negative here, that he is the rain cloud over all of your Vikings joy, that he just put 1998 and this year's Vikings in the same sentence about 4 times in 2 minutes.
Well, again, how many teams are going to beat this team here? Now, on the road, I'm curious. But how many, when we went through...
This was the best shot. This was the best shot. How many times are they going to be underdogs at home?
Right. Like, when we went through that schedule, with the noise here, with the turf here, with what they have going for them as a whole, how many opponents are going to come here and actually be like, you know what, we got this one?
Yeah, no.
It's not a long list, and that's 9 games, you guys. That's
Although,
9 games
did the
there.
New York Football Giants win that game today? They did. So maybe the Giants are better than people thought. Now I'm out of like all of my eliminator pools because I picked the Titans at home against the Giants.
But the Pats look terrible, and Mac Jones is hurt now. I'm just saying this team right now has a very good chance, if they stay healthy, and that's the most important thing, to be favored in almost every home game that they play. And that's 9 games, 7 true road games, 1 neutral site games. I'm just saying it stacks up really well for what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, we've hit another new peak here in the last few minutes. So the amount of people that are hanging out with us here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel for Vikings Vent Line. This is the most fan-friendly, interactive show you're going to find in Minnesota sports, and we turn the show over to you. So let's get back to the fans here. Let's just roll through a bunch. Declan, who's next?
All right, let's go to AJ here. AJ, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Oh, look at that is. Look at that beautiful can, dude. Show us your beautiful cans.
2 times to Richfield Liquors, and I had to go all 3 stores and found it on Glendale. So that's a win for me.
Love it.
I got to say, but they say as a kid that your biggest thing is to learn things. You go to school, you learn at home. As an adult, it's to unlearn things. Watching this game was surreal for me because they get down there on the first drive, 4th down. I'm just in my brain. Oh, this is Mike Zimmer. They're gonna kick this. I'm gonna go take a bathroom break, whatever. And then I hear this roar out of the side of my ear, and I'm just like, oh God, what? The Packers blocked the kick or whatever. And then I'm like, oh God, they went for it. JJ touchdown, 7-up. Like, oh, okay, what's going on? Then it just continues to roll. Like I found myself asking questions like, oh my God, like where is CJ Ham today? Like, is he hurt? Like, oh no, he's just not on the field because we don't need it because we have Justin Jefferson. It was. I haven't been this excited going into a season, I think, since the year before, right before Teddy broke his knee, because there was just so much momentum coming in from the last year. And then after I went to 2 games last year, Detroit, which was honestly they deserved to lose, and then Halloween against the Cowboys, which it was just like earth-shattering, deflating. Like I checked out of the season after that, and then I texted my buddy who's got season tickets, and he was just like. He hit me at halftime. It's like, it's different, the energy in here. And you could just see it on the field. And it was like things that I just never thought would happen were happening. Like Greg Joseph's lining up for a 56-yard field goal. I'm like, this is going in. When the last 2 years, I'm like, I'm not even going to watch it because I know he's going to miss. It's crazy. I think number 1 winners are Surly because this is a winner. This is sold out everywhere. I've gone to 4 different liquor stores and found it. And then Declan, even your performance has improved. So I was on Vent Line 3 times last year, and on average, it took you 8 minutes to get me the StreamYard invite. Today, I sent the email at 6:36. In my inbox at 6:37.
Look at that.
It's all up from here.
Wow, everyone's on there. Even the executive producer.
It's one job. Thank you, AJ.
Awesome, man. AJ, great stuff, dude. Appreciate you coming in. He's got one of the coolest setups there too, with like the purple lighting in the background. All right, who's next, Dex, on Vikings Vent Line here?
Yeah, let's go to Luke. Luke, what's up, man?
Hey, Luke.
What's up?
What's going on, dude?
Oh, I'm stoked. I'm stoked that we actually won and we looked good pretty much the entire game, and yeah, I'm really excited for the season.
So, how long have you been a Vikings fan for? Because you look like a pretty young dude.
Teddy's rookie year.
Okay, so you've lived a little heartbreak. The Blair Walsh miss. There's been a couple things in there. Where does this season rank among like the most excited you've been so far?
Well, I mean, I think it's a little too early to say because I mean, it's still 16 games left. But I don't know. I mean, if we continue playing like this, probably the best season so far. Maybe, or the second best season since, was it the Case Keenum?
2017.
Yep, and that one kind of came out of nowhere. I don't think we had expectations for that season.
Yeah, because didn't that season start with Bradford? Wasn't it? Wasn't it Bradford that started out that year?
Yeah.
Got hurt.
He tore it up and then could barely walk. Yeah, then tore his knees up. So
tore it up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Bridgewater. Yeah, it's been a lot of different heartbreaks throughout the years. I mean, last year was just incredibly frustrating. I mean, the last couple of years, with Zimmer and everything was just really frustrating to watch. I was just counting down the days to when we'd actually fire him, and then we fired him. What was it? The end of the year? I think we fired him like
day after
literally
season.
The day after. Yeah.
Monday.
So.
Well, Luke, thanks for coming on, man, and hopefully the Vikings can give you something to be happy about here in 2022.
Yeah, hopefully we can get to the playoffs and maybe make a little bit of a run, maybe get it to the second or even third round. That would be that'd be special.
All right, Luke.
Maybe talk a little too.
Be careful.
Yeah, there is. Well, I mean, I think one of the obvious counters to everything we've talked about here is it's one game. They do have to go on the road to a Philadelphia team that looked great offensively today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, next week they're probably going to be underdogs. I haven't seen the early lines yet. So, it's 1 week, but this was a really impressive first week.
But they're going to be playing modern football, and I just love that fact. I mean, people thought that we hated on the team through the last 2 years, but it's because of how they played and how they didn't play and what they didn't do. And there was no reason, when you have a talent like they do, there is no reason to suppress it and be like, I'm still a defensive first team. And if a person says that, you got to fire them. So, like, that's why, like, what we saw today, if nothing else, was fun. And I don't think that they're going to now say, well, you know what we need more? We need to run the ball more and defense. They're going to say, how can we build upon what we did? And that's the enjoyable thing is, you're going to get 17 games of what qualifies now as entertaining football. That's my big thing.
Well, and also just one more quick thing, and we'll get back to fans here, but I've been saying it for the Zimmer thing felt great for the first 4 or 5 years, but then it stagnated. He didn't buy into Cousins. It just, the last 2 years just felt like a death march for him. And I say, you know what? When you get a chance to flip the script, the defense thing worked enough to get them back to the NFC Championship game in 2017. And you need to play really good defense, even if you're an offensive-minded team, as the Vikings showed you today. So I'm not saying defense isn't important, but in terms of the identity of the team, in my life, the best Vikings teams, the 98 team, the Mike Tice teams that went to the playoffs and like on a shoestring budget, and then the Brett Favre 2000, they're all track meet offensive teams that will boat race you to 31 or 34 points and make it really hard for you. And that makes it easier for the defense because now you're playing ahead and you can do more things getting after an opposing quarterback. So I would love for that to be the case, that, hey, you're going to come in here, you're going to be trailing, and you're probably going to have to score 30 points inside of this stadium. Who is next on Vikings Vent Line, Dex?
Yeah, let's. We will keep it rolling here. Let's go to Jake. Jake, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
What's going on, man? What'd you see today?
Well, first of all, I'm coming to you from in between Commanders and Ravens territory. Oh, sorry about that.
That's right.
So it was nice to be able to watch a Vikings game that actually mattered. First of all, I really loved the game. It was really great to see, like you were just talking about, modern football and not feeling like it was antiquated. That was really, really refreshing. I do want to potentially pump the brakes, as awesome as this win was. I agree with you on that. That's sort of what I wanted to talk about. Because next week is a road game. And there were a lot of things that sort of made this game a perfect storm. All the Packers' injuries, their seeming inability to play at their level when it comes to week one, the Watson drop. Judd, you and I had talked about on draft night whether or not that trade was a good idea. And I thought it was incredibly ironic that Watson ended up dropping that for multiple reasons. And again, I don't want to take away from the moment, because any day where we can beat the Packers and make Green Bay fans miserable is a positive day in my book. However, there was no Bakhtiari. There were a lot of factors here that I feel are important. And again, I'm not trying to piss in anyone's lemonade, so to speak, but I think it's important to keep that in mind going forward for the season.
Yeah, no, Jake, I think we need a couple, not a full bucket of cold water, but we need some cups of cold water here just to keep people in check. And I think all your points are 100% fair, man. Appreciate you coming on Vikings Vent Line.
Thanks, Jake. Okay, he's right, but here's the thing. We have seen teams, the Vikings included, but we have seen several teams in this town be given gifts and turn them back in. Your guys are out. No, that's okay. We'll ease through the game and you'll win in the fourth quarter or final period or in the ninth. So you know what? Guys are going to be hurt. That's this league. It's the natural course of things. So look, I'm not going to rain on the parade of a team that took advantage of the Packers' problems. It's that simple.
Yep, they did what they had to do, and by the way, this game,
and they did well.
it may have felt a little close at one point when the Packers had the ball down by 2 touchdowns. Like, oh my God, what's going to happen? But this game was actually never close after about the 10-minute mark of the first quarter.
You lost a Cooper Rush in this building last year. I'll repeat that. You lost a Cooper freaking Rush in this building. If you can, for the most part, dominate an opponent that's a pretty good team, 2 or 3 consecutive seasons of 13 wins, right? I'm not going to rain on that. Cooper Rush beat you. I savaged you. We all savaged them, and they deserve to be savaged. But, am I now going to come back and say, well, if they have Bakhtiari and they have blah, 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 okay, yeah, they're probably improved. But the Vikings took the circumstances that they were given and played a really good game. And that is something that the 2020 and 21 teams simply did not do.
Yeah. Vikings Vent Line, the most fan-friendly, interactive show in all of Minnesota sports. Purple Daily, by the way, is daily Vikings entertainment. And you can find some of our spin-off shows, too. The Before We Die podcast with Thor Nystrom and Jesse Pierce. And also Realistic Randy Rant, one of the OG Vikings Vent Line fans and callers from way back in the day when it was a radio show on 1500 ESPN. And we've got Trenches with Boone, Alex Boone, back. And so we'll pop another episode early this week. And please click the subscribe button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel if you haven't already. And we'll sling you daily Vikings entertainment, therapy, whatever you need from us. Dex, who is next here on Vikings Vent Line?
Let's go to our loyal guy, Evan. Evan, what's up, man? How are you?
Evan, what's up, dude?
Y'all doing all right?
Yeah, man. Good to see you again, dude.
Yeah, good to see you guys, too. Before I start, I got to say, Phil, it was great editorial work to throw that random comment up there to spook Dex about his eyes.
Yeah, someone said my girlfriend is mesmerized by Declan, obsessed with Declan's eyes. Huh?
Yeah, and I love the way that Dex got spooked there. But you just wanted to say props on that. That was funny work. But thoughts on the game. I loved how they rolled with the hot hand early. And I love that we were able to be as dominant as we were without even featuring some of the other weapons that we had. Like you guys said, Dalvin was more of a compliment. I don't even think Irv didn't have a catch. Adam had 3 catches, and KJ may have had 1. So this was a great show on how dominant we can be, even without us being clicking on all cylinders. We were just getting started. But I wanted to know what you guys thought of the Christian Watson drop and how much the dynamics of that games would have changed, because I was holding my breath because Patrick Peterson got burnt.
Yes.
And that's one thing I'm concerned of, is because Patrick Peterson was really good for Mike Zimmer's scheme, but this scheme, I think his age is going to show a lot more. So what do you guys think of, because this was a great defensive performance, but how do you think it'll be, with better receivers going forward? Because AJ Brown, I think, had 10 for 155.
Yeah. The one thing about that drop that I think changed the entire game, because that was a perfect pass, and Watson just flat out let it go through his hands. After that, Rodgers basically quit trying to drive the ball down the field. I think in the third quarter, I think his longest pass was a 29-yard gain by Aaron Jones. So it was just a pass to a back that he took for 29 yards. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really thought that from a Packer standpoint, that defined the game, because if Watson catches that, he walks into the end zone. Ain't nobody there who's going to stop him. And that drop reminded me of a certain Viking in Denver. Who am I thinking of? Oh, I know, Troy Williamson. It was like a literal, the ball's right here. Here.
The look on Aaron Rodgers' face, when the camera showed him 4 different times, I want to bottle that look. I want that meme to be spread around the entire internet
I gotta
universe.
go back and see it. I didn't see it.
He just had that. He's not a very patient guy, and they talked about that a lot on the broadcast too. I mean, this is a guy that just cuts his family off at the knees,
Yeah. Well,
what's he going to do with a rookie? So actually, the broadcast asked him. It was Greg Olson was Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olson, and Greg Olson said, "Yeah, we were meeting with Rodgers this week for the preparation, and I asked him, if given a choice, would you rather have 10 Randall Cobbs, old wily veterans, but obviously past his prime, Or would you rather have the young guys that you can mold like the Christian Watsons? And he said, Aaron Rodgers told Greg Olsen, I'd rather have 10 Randall Cobbs.
Of course. He brought him back.
Yeah, he got him back there.
Yeah, so that was who knows what the game would have been like. I mean, that's so deflating for everyone, and Rodgers then no longer trusts to throw the ball his way.
He's like, I'm done throwing the ball down the field. Bye.
Yeah, and it's hard to blame him too much, I guess. So, all right, Declan, who's next? Vikings Vent Line.
Yeah, I'll keep it rolling here. Let's go to Dylan. Dylan, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey guys, good to see you.
What's up, Dylan?
Nothing much. Just enjoying a beautiful victory and the fact that we're finally over 500 for the first time since I pretty much had just started college. So that's great.
What a landmark.
Oh yeah, great landmark. Yeah, the last time I came out here last year, I was on here talking about a lot of disappointment. You could just across the entire fan base, you could just see a lot of disappointment, ready for the season to be over, ready to just move on. And something that I was noticing was we got to the end of the third quarter. We were sitting at the end of the third quarter. Green Bay had scored a touchdown, and we had punted right away. And then the Packers were just about to start another drive, and it just felt like, oh gosh, here we go again. Mm-hmm. We're going to have this happen. We're going to blow it. And they didn't. They went and punted. They sacked Rodgers. They punted. And then we came down and went down the entire length of the field and could have scored a touchdown, but we scored a field goal instead. And it just felt like a different team. And you could just see that throughout, not only just the coaches, you could see that through the players. Kirk just felt like a different person. He sounded different. And I know that we kind of piggybacked off of that a lot. Harrison looked like he could still play another couple of years, which I was really excited about. He still can hit hard, which is good. The one thing that I kind of was nitpicking on was I noticed that we allowed over 100 yards rushing again, which that's what they were doing. They noticed that they did a lot of, once the second half came around, they changed up their game plan. It was a lot of outside zone, a lot of screens, bubble screens, a lot of those type of things to try and get yards. And that stuff was really starting to work. And thinking ahead to the Eagles game, they rushed a lot. I know they also passed a lot against the Lions, but they rushed a lot too. And that's something we really got to be careful for once we head over to next week.
Yeah. Dylan, a lot of awesome points, man. A lot of awesome points. Thanks for coming on. We'll definitely get you on again sometime. Just on the rushing thing, yeah, I mean, the Packers actually, so they ran only 18 times for 111 yards. They averaged 6.2 yards per carry, and they had a handful of runs. I mean, Aaron Jones had a 29-yard run. A.J. Dillon had a 14, so they had some gashes in there. And I think this only underscores how important it is to jump out to leads, build two-score leads, and lean on teams. And this is something I feel like we would bring this up last year that, hey, the Vikings offense constantly takes their foot off the gas pedal. They led the league in 3 and outs offensively last year, and they rarely ever built big leads. They would get out, nice drive early, or maybe they'd be up by 10 or something, and then they would take their foot off the gas in most cases. But if you can get up by 2 touchdowns or 17 points, guess what? Packers probably can't hand off 30 times and jam it down your throat. Like, even if you have trouble stopping the run, they need to throw the ball to try and get their way back in the game. So just another example of why playing out front at home is such a huge advantage.
James Lynch played a bunch today, and I think the one thing that we've talked about and we've seen, and I think today confirmed it, it would certainly be nice to add a veteran defensive lineman, like an Ndamukong Suh. I'm just saying.
You think that happens?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying they use a lot of rotation, and so Tomlinson's out, or Harrison Phillips is out. So I'm just saying, Ndamukong Suh would look good in purple. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
I scoured the airport. I scoured the airport today, Minneapolis and DC. There is no signs of Ndamukong Suh.
He's not great. I'm just saying it would be nice because they use a lot of rotation, and I don't know that the rotation is as stout as I would like it to be right now.
Depth guy who plays about 25-30% of the snaps.
Not a starter.
I could see
Not a starter. It's okay. Or maybe a starter. Who knows? I'm just throwing it out there.
Who's next? Vikings Vent Line.
Another loyal guest. Let's go to our guy Ben in Florida.
Ben, what's going on, dude?
Sorry. Much better. So first of all, I know there's a lot of things we can talk about Kirk Cousins, the offense, stuff like that. But I want to discuss two things here. First of all, Za'Darius Smith. That dude was out there tossing people out the club. Like every time I saw him, he looked like he was just blowing guys off the line of scrimmage. Like it was incredible. Like that when that signing happened, I was excited about it. But now I'm just like, that dude's a game changer if he can stay healthy, because he was just annihilating the Packers offensive line. And
dude, the strip sack that it wound up that Hicks was credited with the strip sack, and Danielle Hunter was there too. But that play started, if you guys remember, A.J. Dillon stepped up to try and take on Za'Darius Smith and got trucked. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, then everything collapsed in on Rodgers. It was If you go back and watch it, if you can find a clip, if you guys missed it.
Yeah, it's very noticeable. And the other thing, this game, I just wanted to look for see things like what was different, what looked different. And there's a sequence of the game where I saw like, okay, this is way different. The Vikings are up 2 scores, and they are just hucking the ball down the field to Justin Jefferson. They're just throwing it. I think they ended up with like 2 incompletions. Cousins had I think it was like a really not ugly bad throw or something. And they got into the red zone, tried to throw it in the end zone, didn't work. But my thought was, you know what? I don't mind that. You're being aggressive. You're trying to be aggressive. And the 60-yard pass to Jefferson that set up the next field goal, that's what I want to see from Cousins. I want to see him move. He moved around the pocket, set his feet, saw Jefferson deep down the field, and let it go. And again, Justin Jefferson, he's going to put those numbers up almost week in and week out, because I just don't see a defense that's going to lock this guy down at all. So it's a great first win. I saw a lot of things that made me mad last year. They didn't do it in this game. So I'm all about good first impressions. The Kwesi and O'Connell era has given me a great first impression.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, dude, awesome stuff. Ben in Florida, one of our longtime favorite guests on Vikings Vent Line. Definitely get him back next week. Let's keep it rolling here, Declan. We're almost an hour into this week 1 celebrash.
What's going on? Let's go to Mike with his Viking swag and family.
What's going on, Mike? Who do we got here? Who's your partner in crime?
Guys, man. All the boys wanted to say hi.
Hi, family.
Hey, fam. Hi, Mike, fam.
I love you guys. Thank you for getting me out of my cousin's fandom. You guys woke me up.
Dude, well, we're not trying to get you out of your cousin's fandom. We're just pointing out the things that he needs to do better. You can still be a fan of Cousins.
I'm a fan of Cousins, but I was Cousins, one of them guys who defended Cousins all the time. Thank you guys for getting me out of that.
Okay, all right.
Welcome.
All right. I move mountains for a living, and I hope the Vikings do something we all hope they do this year. I love you guys, and thank you for everything.
Mike, thank you, man. And by the way, Cousins was great today, largely. And if you got this performance where he's just pushing the ball down the field, being aggressive, building leads, like you would take this every day of the week, all season long.
100%. Thank you guys for letting me on the show.
All right.
And you guys are amazing.
See you,
Bye,
Mike.
family.
I love it, man.
Love that. A lot of family affairs today. I love it.
It is.
Good.
We got this.
It's a family show.
Little Purple Daily and Vent Line families. Yes.
Try to.
All right. Who's next?
Let's go to our guy Jamie. Jamie, what's up, man? You're on Vikings
Hey,
Vent Line. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I'm calling from Arizona. I do want to say I called in a couple years ago and said Cliff Kingsbury's going to get fired. And after today's Chiefs game,
dude.
I think it might have been a year off or so, but I think it's going to happen here.
It'll happen.
What was the fine? So 40. The Chiefs decided to stop at 44 points. Mercifully.
Yeah, they decided to. And I do want to say to Judd, like the modern offense thing, like you watch Patrick Mahomes, he's throwing freaking passes when there's like 35 seconds left. Moving the ball down the field, and that was pretty. Just from the Arizona perspective, it was nice to see that happening in Minnesota. As far as a Vikings fan, I've been a Vikings fan since I was 8 years old, and man, after these few years of watching the Vikings, like we have to sit back and reflect on a couple of things. Like I was holding my breath when there's 3 minutes left and the Packers get the ball back, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, the Packers can go down here and score a touchdown, and they don't. Like last year that happens. Last year they score a touchdown or they score something, field goal, something, they got points, and this year they didn't. Like that's a big change. Hopefully that we keep going through the rest of the season. Is that we tighten up our defense when we need to. The other thing that I was looking at is just the body language of Coach O'Connell. You think about Zim the last couple of years, sitting on the sidelines. You can't tell if we're winning or losing, which is okay. I understand as a coach, he's holding his cards. But watching O'Connell pace the sidelines, I don't know if that's good or bad, but different energy, different vibe. It felt good to see that his emotion, because I don't know, maybe it won't feel as good when we're losing, but it was a different feel, what I mean?
Yes,
So,
it was.
yeah,
it was a drastically different feel. Also, and Jamie, great stuff, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Got to say, X-Men right here.
Nice.
Really great way to start the game.
Cool. Awesome beer.
Man.
Yeah.
Love me some X-Men.
All right.
Awesome beer.
Oh yeah, Jamie.
Boom. Thanks for
Jamie.
supporting, man. I thought and I wasn't there, Judd. You are there, and you were there for the game at US Bank Stadium. I saw a lot of comments from people just saying how loud it's loud there just generally. But what were your observations about the noise and the vibe and everything inside the stadium?
The vibe seemed good. There were definitely Packer fans here, and there were some "Let's Go Packer" chants, but it wasn't as obnoxious. It felt like as it had been the last few years.
Yeah.
Beyond 2020 when the Packers opened here with no fans, and it was really, really bizarre. But on O'Connell, I would say this too. There's a big difference when you go into coaching a game and you don't hate one side of the football. And by the end, Mike detested the opposing offense and that became a problem. He was always waiting, I felt like, for the other shoe to drop of how Kirk and company were going to screw him, because he was all about, stay out there, get my defense off the field, blah, blah, blah. And look, O'Connell's younger. He's an offensive guy. And most importantly, with athletes today, I don't think the starting point can be, you know what, I really hate you guys, but I love my defense. And that was, so yes, the entire mood in the building, just like training camp, you guys, it feels like a cloud, fair or not, has been lifted. It felt like a cloud was over this team for the last 2 years, and you could especially feel it in training camp last year. That's gone. Are there going to be problems? Absolutely. Are there going to be guys hurt? Yes, absolutely. But I don't think that there's going to be an attitude of defeat. And in sports, it sounds stupid, but that's a big deal. If you go in saying, you know what, we're screwed, good luck, right? Good luck. So that is now gone. And it's a buzzword and a cliche, but I think if you empower your players, it makes a substantial difference in how they think about you, the team, and the game.
Speaking of empowering players, I saw a couple comments on the Purple Daily YouTube channel here that apparently Kirk Cousins handed out game balls after the game. Mm-hmm. We've been here doing this, so if someone can confirm that, I will go with it for now.
I heard it was DeQuacy and Kevin O'Connell from what I saw on Twitter too. So
awesome.
He handed out game balls to basically the new regime in KOC and Kwesi.
I'm trying to remember if Kirk was ever able to or felt empowered to hand out game balls under Mike Zimmer, and I don't. It's hard to say.
I think he might have after the Saints playoff game. I think the "you like that" thing involved a game ball possibly as well. But yeah, it was definitely not a endearment thing. And look, I mean, they are doing a good job of doing everything they possibly can to prop him up as a key guy with this team, and they should. That's absolutely fine. If it makes him feel good, that's awesome.
Points, man. You gave us a chance at the end, but I got 3 words for you. You like that?
Did the voice crack? That's the question for today. Did the voice crack?
He clearly came into today with like a new hard count kind of thing. Like he definitely had a new hard count today. But every time he hiked the ball, there was still there was still a.
I love it.
Love it. I'm here for it. The
Kirk, tickled? What's he being tickled?
It sounded like it. It's like tickle me, Kirk. Like that's what it sounded like.
He's Elmo.
Yeah.
Oh no.
All right, who's next on Vikings Vent Line here?
Let's go to Keith. Keith, what's up, dude?
What's up, Keith?
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
Perfect. All right, first time caller, got purple blood, live in Wisconsin, so this is good to see.
You get to walk around town with a big smile on your face the next week or so.
Oh,
nice.
Oh yeah, all my family, in-laws, everything. It's good to go. So I would like to focus on some details here, actually, specifically with Kirk. So I feel like the last couple years, and I don't know if O'Connell had everything to do with this or if Kirk took this under his own power to change himself this offseason, but his right foot in shotgun is back now. And I feel like that was forward previous seasons.
Football.
Oh,
with the footwork.
And,
wow.
And also, 2 times I saw this today. He did like the Brady shuffle, like not a full step when the
I saw it.
when the pocket's closing, but just like a half step, shoulder shrug. And he actually, I think he was 2 for 2 on those. But
yes. Well,
just
one of them was the 64-yarder, right?
Well, I think he ran up in the pocket on that one.
You're
But
talking
there
the
were
more subtle stuff. Okay.
just barely moving his shoulder, like a half step.
Gotcha.
And just to buy that quarter second that he needed.
That's really intriguing. So there was one play, I think it was in the second half, where Kenny Clark, he beat Ingram and then Bradbury consecutively. So like they both tried to block him, and Clark came in on Kirk, and I think it was an incomplete pass, but the point was Kirk had the ball like right here, and Clark went to swipe it, and if he hits it, it's a fumble, and Kirk got rid of the ball, which I contend the last 3 years Kirk doesn't do. Kirk fumbles
that play?
That ball.
It was an incomplete pass targeted to Dalvin Cook, I think.
Over the middle.
But it saved them like a 5-yard loss on a sack, and Greg Olsen was like, "Oh, it's a really risky play." It's like, you know what? I don't think it was, because he kind of threw it out front of Dalvin, and it was wobbly, but it's not. If you know what you're doing in that situation, and you're a 34-year-old veteran quarterback, it's not really risky. You're just avoiding a sack, and you're putting a ball out where only Dalvin can catch it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there was at least 3 times today where Kirk, previous seasons, is sacked, where he bought himself that time.
Yes.
And to end, I would just like one request from you guys. I know you guys do this, but I want a full hour episode of Packers Vent Line after this game, just dedicated to that. And
okay, so
I love that.
It's funny because Declan and I are on a text thread with one of our producers at Hubbard Radio, Jason Stormer, who helps put together Packer and Bears Vent Line. So the station, and we have friends that lost their jobs at the station. The Fan in Milwaukee, and previously WSSP, the Green and Gold postgame show originated out of the Fan in Milwaukee, and that station got the plug pulled on it about 2 weeks ago. So they don't do, as far as I know, I don't think the Green and Gold postgame show exists. So the show that we have been mostly tapping for those reactions, I don't think exists anymore. So we're trying to find out, like, if there's other stations, but I don't know if they post podcasts of their stuff. So we're kind of scouring YouTube and podcasts to see if there's a replacement for us. But yeah, they got us in scramble mode for Packers. Shut down all of the Wisconsin sports radio stations, I guess, after this dismal performance today.
Oh, that's too bad. That stuff was pure gold. Oh man.
So we'll see what happens. Keith, great stuff, dude. I love it. Bringing the inside football insights.
I guess if there's any like fans of Purple Daily right now, like reside in like Wausau or like, I don't know, I'm trying to think like obscure, like Appleton. If you guys know of obscure Packer radio stations where this still exists, please by all means let us know.
And we know, and there's a bunch of sports stations in Wisconsin, but a lot of them, because like Wisconsin takes about 15 years to catch up. Like they're just figuring out who, like they're watching Total Request Live on MTV for the first time now. They're just a little behind the times, but I don't know how many of them post podcasts of their post-game radio shows. That's the problem. So get up to speed, Wisconsin. But yeah, we would crowdsource this if there's places where sad Packer fans are freaking out on phone lines. Let us know where. All right, who's next? Good Vikings Vent Line.
Let's go to our guy Keith. Keith, what's up, dude? How are you?
Skull.
Hey, man. Yes. Hey, good to be on the show, man. I appreciate it. I've been watching the show since, ever since you guys started. I watch it every day at my job, so just appreciate the opportunity. To be honest, I'm that type of – I've been a fan since 1998, so I dealt with a lot of up and down. I always wait for the worst case, But this game, I felt different. I was relaxed. Honestly, I felt like the coaches were organized. They knew it was a plan in place, and I don't know. I think the vibe was just different. Kirk, he definitely looked good. I'm not a Kirk fan. But not to be negative, I'm not a Kirk fan though. I think he has caused a lot of issues with us to elevate our offense in a way. But I know Kevin O'Connell will help that. But I want to see the big games. I want to see, as we continue to move on. Great game though. The defense looked great. Danielle Hunter and our rushing defense. The rush defense looked good. It also helped the pass. So it was exciting. A lot of positives. I think Garrett Bradbury, I hope that don't bite us though, because the inside pressure was still an issue. So
yeah,
it was just good to see, man. Justin Jefferson, amazing. Team looked good. Our kicker looked good. Just overall good stuff, man. I just wish Irv Smith would have got more targets. So
I think they're being careful with him, right? They don't want to run him out there.
That's coming. Yeah, I would be concerned about that.
He'll get his chances. Keith, great observations, man. Thanks for coming on, and we'll definitely get you on again sometime.
Yeah, appreciate the opportunity, man. Have a good night.
Thanks, Keith. Greg Joseph from 56 yards too. I believe that tied a franchise record. Edger and Blair Walsh held. Mm-hmm. So it's a three-way kicker tie now, 56 yards. It's amazing what a kicker can do when his head coach doesn't despise his existence on this earth.
Yeah, he just has this beautiful. I posted a GIF of Rory McIlroy hitting a drive after that field goal. It's this beautiful right to left baby draw right down the middle.
I do it all the time. Yeah,
just like Declan's game, really. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Reminds me of Declan. Yeah. Although Declan, instead of it being like 340 like Rory McIlroy, it takes Declan 6 shots to go 340 yards. Right. Not that I should
the handicap's at 24 right now. Okay, it's dropped 7 points since the start of the season.
Why couldn't you have stopped?
All right.
Why couldn't you just have stopped? Compliment Declan, move on. Instead, you had to go and rip him.
No, I'm just making a golf observation.
That's fine.
To be insecure about it. All right, who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Let's go to our guy Kyle. I believe he's on the porch right now.
A little celebratory
cigar.
Gentlemen.
Absolutely, and a little bit of scotch. Just enjoying a nice stogie after a wonderful win. Basically, grew up in North Dakota, moved to Georgia, and I just got to say, it just feels different. Back from 1998 with the Favre thing. But watching Kirk move up in the pocket, push the ball down the field, getting after Rodgers. I understand Bakhtiari was out and Rodgers no longer has Adams, but he was still doing Aaron Rodgers things, and we were after him differently. It's exciting.
Yeah, dude. First of all, I love your whole vibe here, man. This is great. You're outside. You got some scotch. You're smoking on a little cigar here. Yeah. Mentioned this. You've mentioned 1998, and I think a lot of people just feel that difference. So. Great stuff, man. Thanks for coming on here, Kyle.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Judd, you saying that a cloud has been lifted. I haven't been this excited. I'm always excited for Vikings at the beginning of the year, but this was an important win. I think it's
yes,
paving the way for the future.
And the performance
was,
dude, great stuff, Kyle. Man.
The performance itself too, to me, was like really enlightening as to far because we didn't know. Like we talked for weeks about because. They didn't, and they're not going to show a thing in the 3 exhibition games. We talked for weeks about, I wonder what it's going to look like.
Yes.
And here's the thing alone. When you come out and allow Justin Jefferson to do what Justin Jefferson did, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Because he can, it's not fair, but he can catch everything.
I'm doing some tallying here, too, because one of the things we talked about at the end of the Zimmer run was that and I'm not trying to make it sound simple, but at the end of the day, you've got explosive weapons on offense. You should be doing your best to get the ball to those weapons as often as possible percentage-wise. And there would be games where, there was literally games where Jefferson would have 5 targets or 7 targets. Or I think there was a 4-target game in there, maybe against Dallas. And so how do you justify that of all the plays you're running? And so today, just taking the passing targets, so 31 passing targets according to the ESPN box score here. Jefferson 11, which is that's a great number. I could see it going higher at some point, but anywhere between 10 and 15 for him should be every single week. Thielen only had 4, but so 11, 4, it's 15. Dalvin had 5, so that's 20, and then KJ Osborne I'm going to put in this bin too, because I think he's pretty explosive. So that makes 24 of the 31 targets were to your 4 best offensive playmakers. And then tack on another 20 carries for Dalvin Cook on the running side. That's what it should look like. Who are your 4 best weapons, and how can you get them the ball like 3 out of 4 times? And then sprinkle in a Johnny Munt over here, Irv Smith, Alex Madison, you know?
And where this game is absolutely the perfect game is now in week 2, Philly is going to say, we are not going to let 18 beat us. We're going to double him. We're going to blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's great. Guess what? 19, 17 become huge factors. So, like, and you can still throw to Jefferson. So, like, the whole thing is, like, today sets up this just great trickle down of, okay, you can try and take Justin out of the game, but you're picking your poison then. Or Dalvin Cook in the passing game. Like, there is a lot of things to come that are going to, I think, build off each previous game.
Yes. All right, who's next? Vikings Vent Line.
All right, let's try our guy again. Vikes fan 47 here again.
There he is.
All right, can you hear us?
Oh,
no, we can't hear you.
Is he muted?
No. We might just have some
audio problems,
issues,
man.
Unfortunately.
Can you give us a nonverbal cue of how you're feeling today after this game?
That's a great one, actually. Just woo.
He's just waving his hat around. I think now the visual's kind of cutting out. All right, we'll work on a different method maybe for next week for one of our cabinet members there. All right, let's keep it rolling here.
Yeah, this guy's been in queue for a while. Just got to make sure his screen's actually on. Q, are you there? Q, do you got us? Looks
you guys hear me?
We got the audio of you.
It's just like a blurry thing of you, but we can hear you okay.
Can you hear me?
It's like you're an aberration.
Hold on, let me try one more time.
It looks like a carpet pattern.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. As long as we can hear you, we're okay.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know what? First off, I got to say, Skull Vikings, man. I mean, they went out there. Come on, man. That was beautiful to see. Second thing I got to say is, you know, everybody is talking about Kevin O'Connell and this offense and yada, yada. All I got to say is, duh. I mean, we got all these weapons on this damn team. What did anybody think would happen if we got somebody who actually is going to coach the offense to coach the offense? Literally, it's duh. How are we not giving JJ, like you say, 10 to 15 targets a game? I remember one week, JJ was talking about he wanted some more targets, and Mike Zimmer said, "Oh yeah, he's got to show me something in practice, and we'll get him some more targets." What do you mean show you? He's Justin Jefferson, man. Like, come on, like what's going on? And you know, one last thing I want to add is, man, the defense. Nothing tickles my pickle more than seeing Aaron Rodgers get his brain busted the whole damn game. And those boys were all over him. Hicks, I thought he was gonna knock his face mask off when they smashed him in that whole little sandwich hit. Oh my God. I was screaming the whole game, man. That dude Hicks, he's gonna be a problem, man. He was all over the field. I like that guy, man. But I appreciate you guys letting me on the show, man. Just wanted to say, School Vikes, man, it's a good W out there.
Awesome, man. Q, thanks for coming on. Great stuff. I want to say Q might be the low-key MVP of all the guests here.
Yeah.
Grinding through a broken camera. He had the fire alarm chirping in the background every 30 seconds.
That sound is PTSD for me. Like, even I looked around the first, oh my God, is it my room? Like, I was like, is it mine?
I live in paranoia because there's a room in our place that has a ceiling that it's like kind of I don't know, it's like an angled ceiling.
Okay.
And so we rent this place. Love it, but there's like a 17-foot peak on this ceiling, and that's where they put the fire alarm.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And so you literally have to have a ladder to get up there.
That's what Royce has.
Waiting for that to happen.
Pat
that happened last year, and I had to literally pay someone to bring a ladder that big because I don't have one at this townhouse. So I also was shook by that noise. Oh my God, is it mine? No.
Didn't bother me at all.
Well, hopefully they have proper fire alarms in the press box at US Bank Stadium.
This place ain't going up in flames.
They've had that fire alarm go off before too.
They can have fires all they want. I ain't budging. It's Vent Line time.
It is. All right, we're let's keep rolling here. Vikings Vent Line.
Couple more. Let's go to Rashad. Rashad, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, bro? My phone actually died. I was up in the chat a minute ago. I was on last year. I don't know if y'all remember me. I had my daughter with me. Shout out to everybody. Appreciate you guys. I was actually at the game.
Nice.
Little horse right now, but I was there.
Oh, you got the Kirk Cousins program. Look at that.
Yeah.
For the squad. A few things. One, Justin Jefferson, freaking rock. Jesus Christ, I'm so glad we have an offensive-minded coach. I used to scream at Zimmer. I loved him early on. I don't know what happened. He got caught, stuck in his ways. God bless him. I hope he's helping Deion. That being said, and I heard people allude to this earlier, I do think we need to taper it a little bit. I never thought Green Bay was that good. I just didn't. I mean, especially losing everything that they lost to Devontae Adams. I don't know who their receivers are. It doesn't look like they do either. At the same time, I mean, I was a little worried about the running game. I thought we did a good job, kind of closing in on them, but they got off up the middle on us, right? But I didn't think Green Bay was that good of a team anyway. So I'm curious to see what we do away from US Bank Stadium and against a decent opponent. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we're going to be kind of shocked. Well, we won't be because we've been watching them for years. But I think other teams and all these idiot journalists will be really shocked with how poor Green Bay plays moving forward. Also, Declan, I meant to tell you last time, bro, I actually work at Central, man.
Oh, you did?
I work at Central. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a true Central. Love the Twin Cities. I moved up here from the East Coast just to watch Vikings games, and I'm here now. I'm loving it. I mean, I was at the Minneapolis Miracle too, straight up, and we took a good one today. I mean, I'm curious to see what we do the rest of the game. The rest of the season. But today I'm gonna take this W and shut all my idiot Packer fan friends up.
Yes.
Oh my God, this felt so good. Amen. Thank you guys.
Awesome, man. Rashad, great stuff, dude. Great
Go
stuff
Minutemen,
from
Rashad. Love it.
Rashad.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, we have at least one more here potentially on Vikings Vent Line. All right.
Yeah. Let's go to Eric. Eric, what's good, dude? How are you?
Hey, boys. What's up? What's up?
Dude, what's going on, man?
Dude, big John Randall fan, the lifelong Vikings fan. I live in Connecticut. I've never been to a Minnesota Vikings game at home. I've only seen them on the road.
Oh.
I found out today I got tickets to the Jets game, so I'm finally coming to Minnesota. I can't wait.
Nice.
But the points I wanted to see about this game was like, and no one's really saying anything about it, is like, how about Alexander Madison getting some hard-earned yards when we really, really needed them to keep just things going and giving Dalvin Cook a break? Because it seemed like Dalvin Cook a couple of times needed a break. I saw a couple times of him going out and he'd have to wave in, give me some relief. He was awesome. Greg Joseph, oh my God. What was it, 56?
56. Just
oh my God.
Beautiful right down the middle.
It was amazing. So it's just awesome to see the new vibes. KOC, Kwesi, they're doing the right thing. And like a lot of these guys, a lot of us lifelong, I'm going to get teary-eyed. A lot of us lifelong Viking fans we're like, oh my God, a breath of fresh air. It's not 3 runs up the middle and let's try and get it past. It's modern football. So we're like in it. I know it's only one game, and I don't want to get excited. And I know there was a guy on before. It was like a total Debbie Downer, but like,
and it wasn't Judd.
I know it wasn't Judd.
No.
But like, it was a fan that's only been a fan. He's had some heartbreak, but not the heartbreak that most of us like. That remember like Warren Moon losing to the Giants, or Gary Anderson missing the kick, and it's like there's some pain there. I remember the game against the Giants. I was snowboarding up in Vermont, and they were like, "Don't even come upstairs." I'm like, "What happened?" It's like it's already 14-0. I'm like, "What?" Yeah. So it's like just to see like there's some progress now. Hopefully, and at the end of the day, we beat the Packers, and we made Aaron Rodgers look so upset and so disheveled. I mean, there's nothing better than that. So
they crunched him. They crunched him. They damn near killed him.
I know. I love it. I love your guys' show. I found you guys towards the end of last season. I just happened to find a YouTube link. I'm like, these guys, I've been listening to your podcasts, all of them. It's amazing.
Awesome.
You guys do a great job. So.
Eric, welcome to the club here on Purple Daily and Vikings Vent Line. Definitely don't make this the last time you come on, dude. All right.
All right.
See you, Eric.
Thank you, man. All right.
In December. Let's go for the
Johnny Randall.
Awesome, man. All right, Eric. Take care, dude. That was great. That's a great way to wrap it here on Vikings Vent Line. And spread the word. If you guys are new to the show, please click subscribe on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. We do this after every Vikings game, but then we also have 365 days a year. It's called Purple Daily for a reason. We are bringing you, even in the off season, you guys are doing daily Viking shows in June? Yes.
We don't take time off to do them.
Yes, we are. So thanks to everyone. If you've been a long-time listener and participant on Vikings Vent Line and Purple Daily, or if you're brand new today, perhaps for the first time, welcome in. We appreciate all of you, and thanks also to TCL and Surly again for being great partners here on these post-game shows. Judd, and we're going to do a full breakdown on the Monday episode of Purple Daily, so we don't have to go too deep here to wrap this episode, but just any quick final thoughts from you at the stadium, Judd, as you dissect a 23-7 Week 1 win, Week 1 of the Kevin O'Connell era.
Yeah, I'd say it's this, put as simply as possible, despite the fact that a lot of fans out there think that I hate the Vikings and I hate Kirk Cousins and I hate the entire franchise and I hate every team in town. That's not true. What I'm after is excellence. What I am after is seeing superstar players who are treated like that. What I'm after is a product that I want to watch. And the last 2 years, the Vikings became incredibly difficult to watch. And it is our job, all of us, to watch every game, which is awesome. That's great. That's a great life. But that being said, what we saw today was a lot of fun. And do I think that this team, after one game, is going to win a Super Bowl? No, absolutely not. Do I think that I saw a product that is going to be really enjoyable and is not all of a sudden going to get stupid? Yes, I do. So my feeling is this. I want to be rewarded with a team that I think is likable, that's run well, and that does things that make sense. In other words, not the Twins. And the Vikings provide...
Just a drive-by twin shot there.
Twins, I'll have more to say on this tomorrow on Mackie and Judd, but they deserve what they get. But anyway, the point is, the Vikings today took what they had and really made it pay off, and it starts with Justin Jefferson, who is a superstar and is going to contend to be considered the best receiver in a league that is filled with outstanding receivers. That's my thought.
This was a breath of fresh air today. I don't know what the next 16 games hold. They have to go on the road on Monday Night Football next week, and that's a whole thing that we will talk about as the week progresses. But for right now, this has to feel damn good for all the Vikings fans out there who have just grinded through the last couple of years of mediocrity and misery. And I've said it a couple times. I'll say it again. This is the first time. And real quick, to your point about negativity or whatever it is, we hold this team to a high standard. And we want this team to do the only thing that it hasn't done as a franchise, which is win a Super Bowl. And so, the fact that this is the first time in almost 1,000 days they've been above 500, let that sink in for a second. Almost 1,000 days of them not being able to get even above 500. And so it kind of pissed us off a little bit. We've been negative the last couple of years. So this was a great step in the right direction today, and it has to feel pretty good for Kevin O'Connell too. What about you, Dex? What are your quick thoughts to wrap here?
Yeah, it was just a great taste to open the season with a win against the Packers. I know some people don't like playing your biggest rival to start the year. I love that. I don't like playing, Cleveland. I don't like playing Carolina. I don't like some softy that you have to play to start the year. Play one of your best teams, make a statement, and do that. So I thought that the way that they looked, and the way also just the Packers looked disheveled. Like Rodgers looked absolutely pissed. LaFleur looked like he didn't have any answers for what was going on. It might be a long year in Green Bay. I mean, a classic overreaction Monday that we'll obviously get into tomorrow.
Dude, they looked way worse Week 1 last year and still finished 13-3.
It's true. So, egg on the face is potential. Old tweets exposed. We'll do all that fun stuff if this ends up not looking the way it's supposed to go. But even tomorrow, we're kind of changing up even, but a little behind the scenes how we're doing Purple Daily tomorrow. So, we'll have some hottest takes. We'll have just one pie chart. I'm just excited to talk more about this game as we get closer and as we inch along throughout the 2022 season.
Yeah. We're gonna our Monday episodes. We're adding a new segment. So and we're adding a couple new segments. I'm gonna spring one on you guys on Tuesday too. So we're looking forward to the season. Thank you all for joining us on Vikings Vent Line and Purple Daily. Phil Mackey, Judd Zulgad from US Bank Stadium, and our executive producer Declan Goff. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.